Welcome to the Inspired Choices Network TV. I am your host, Christine McIver. I have a wonderful guest with me today, Suzanne Stauffer. Suzanne is joining us via Skype from her home in Utah. Welcome to the show, Suzanne.
Hello, hello.
Today, Suzanne and I are going to be talking about living your soul truth. And I just want to tell you about Suzanne. Suzanne is a guide, truth teller, and fire starter. While it's not normal to be a genius in numbers and money, health and body, relationships, and spirituality, Suzanne has never been one to fit in the box of being normal. When you work with Suzanne, you receive a guide who empowers you to navigate every area of your life in alignment with your soul truth. Suzanne is known as the numbers chick, the body maven, the spiritual guide, and the relationship revitalizer. I just love that. Suzanne can be heard saying, "My soul truth. I've been on a path of transforming my health, my relationships, money, and spirituality. Whatever path you are on, remember this. You can live your truth regardless of where you are right now. I've done it, and I'll teach you how to." That's awesome. Suzanne, I'm so excited to have you with me. I love connecting with you. I've loved connecting with you for years. I don't even remember how many years we've known each other now. I mean, it could be 1, it could be 5, it could be 15 lifetimes, who knows?
I know, it's so fun. I love it. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, you're welcome. I love how you dance in the world, and I want to get to what you're doing now, but I'd love for you to tell us your story. Tell us the journey of your life and however much or little you'd like to share with us.
That's a lot to tell, Christine. What I would say is that I come from a very poor family, and it was a very abusive situation for me in all ways. And emotional abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse, financial abuse, religious abuse, any kind of abuse that you can think of, I experienced until I kind of escaped my childhood home and got married at 18, which I would not advise, okay?
Don't do this at home.
Please do not do this. But what I would say is, I was just telling someone the other day that I think I've probably experienced over 1,000 traumatic experiences in my lifetime. Bullying, all kinds of stuff. I was almost raped when I was 16. You name it, I've experienced it. And what I would say is that the awesome thing is that I have transcended that. I have basically created light from darkness in my own life. And so I hold such a big space for anybody else that's really going through hard times, that they can also see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Wow. So you have been through a lot. You move out of the home, you get married at 18. What happened after that? Were you did you find yourself recreating the abuse in the marriage?
I was really neglected in my first marriage. I was basically a single mom. He was very unconscious and really like a workaholic. And, he's a good guy. And actually, I tell people that he's the best ex-husband I can ever imagine having. So
that's a great title.
So I always send him texts every year on our anniversary, like the day that we got married. I'm like, "Happy anniversary! You're the best ex-husband ever." So, but I thought it was just that we were incompatible. And so when I was single, when I asked for a divorce and was single at 30, I remember dating and getting right back into another relationship. And honestly, that was way more abusive than my first one.
Wow.
Very violent, very emotionally and physically abusive. And, when you go through an experience like that, it's like, you know what? I don't think this is about incompatibility. I think this is about my own inner work that I need to do. Like, the common denominator is me, right? Like, I'm the one that's creating these experiences. Right. So that experience took me into personal development. It took me on my path that I'm currently on, which is a constant transformation.
Okay. Did you spend any time in self-judgment or self-loathing or even blaming him or blaming, your past co-creators of your life?
Oh, totally. Are you kidding me? I remember being like, I remember being in fetal position, like when my second husband had moved out. I remember the whole house was empty, and I was laying on the living room carpet in fetal position, crying, and I was like basically uh, wailing to God or whoever was out there, like, why is this happening to me? Like, why is my life like this? Like, why did my childhood have to be the way that it is? So I felt very much like a victim and very much like the world had handed me a raw deal. So yeah, I went through that process. There's still times and days where I'm like, this sucks, you know.
This sucks. This is one of the things I love about you because you just say it like it is. I mean, you don't mix words and you're straight up. And you do tell the truth of what you're experiencing or what's being created around you. I really, really love that. So, Suzanne, as you were going along in your life, and what was the moment that had you go, okay, Chic, you are the common denominator here? Was there a pivotal experience that had you wake up to this?
Yeah, it was that moment that I was just telling you about where
Oh,
I'm laying on that living room floor and I am sobbing and I'm like, if this is what life is, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be on this planet, like just take me now. And I remember just praying to whoever, because I had left organized religion by that point. And so I didn't know who God was to me. I didn't have like the spiritual base that I have now. And so I was just calling out to anyone. And I remember thinking like, if this is it, if this is all there is, then I'm out. And this peace came through my body at that moment, and it filled me, but like the whole room filled with light, and it was literally like a moment of it's going to be okay. Like it's going to be okay. Like get up, you're strong. Like that's the thing when
wow.
you experience so much in your life is you have resilience. You have tenacity. Like it doesn't matter what happens in my life. I know how to get back up and keep on going.
My gosh, that's amazing. It's so interesting to me how many people I've encountered that have had something somewhat similar, that their lives have been hell, like
Yeah.
really hell, and they've had these terrible stories that they've experienced, that they've created really, and they hit the wall and say, you know what, if this is all there is, I'm out.
Yeah.
And Suzanne, in your practice, and we're gonna take a break in just a few minutes, but I would love to know, in your practice, have you seen people really embrace or have to actually create that chaos in order for them to really call for help and reach out and to choose beyond the chaos?
Yeah. I feel like that everybody has to hit their version of rock bottom at some point, and oftentimes multiple times in their lifetime to really, it's kind of like the universal 2x4 across your forehead that says, wake up. Like,
Right.
wake up and start seeing what's possible. Wake up and start seeing what your patterns are. Choose more, right? So I feel like I see this all the time, people coming and saying, like, their husband left them for another woman, or they have incredible health issues, or they're struggling with addiction. Like I see everything in my practice, and I hold it with so much love and non-judgment, because it's absolutely an opportunity to rise. It's an opportunity to transcend and to really get through the lessons and the up levels so that people can have their best life and be what they're meant to be on the planet. And unfortunately, that sometimes comes through the hardest life lessons.
Right. We're so stubborn, and yet the flip side is resilience. But I love the way that you put it. I love how you said this is an opportunity, when most of us see it as just hell, just like, why is this happening to me? This is bullshit. And hey, hang on a second, you have an opportunity to choose beyond this, to really change the course of your life. And unfortunately, so many of us, I've experienced it myself, we don't know how. We don't know that there is something else out there. And one of the things that you're doing in the world is providing people the guidance to take that opportunity and to really, really change it. And that's one of the many, many reasons why I love you and why I love what you do in the world. You are such a gift. Now I'm going to get teary-eyed because you have touched my life, and wow, this doesn't usually happen except with Suzanne, because she does this to me often. But you have.
I always like to make them cry. It's always a good day.
It's always a good day. But you touch so many people's lives, and I love it. When we get back from break, I really want to dive into what the experience is like working with you, and some of the tools that you share with other individuals so they can take advantage of this opportunity. Great. All right, everyone, stay tuned. We'll be back right after this short commercial break, where we'll get back in with Suzanne Stauffer. Have you thought about bringing your voice to the world? Are you looking to have a global platform that you can connect with? At Inspired Choices Network, we create an opportunity for you to bring your voice each and every week to a global platform. We support you, we train you, we bring your podcast out to more than 50 platforms. We are a network of building a community where we're bringing conscious voices to the world. If you're looking to have more of an opportunity, if you're looking to bring what you know to the world, do connect with us. You can contact us at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com, or you can send an email to becomingahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. We'll have a conversation and we'll show you what truly is possible. Welcome back, everyone. We are here with Suzanne Stauffer, our guide, truth teller, and fire starter. I really want to hear about the fire starter. We're talking today about living your soul truth. So before we went to break, in our first segment, Suzanne, you really shared with us your journey, and what a journey it's been. And you brought us up to the moment of opportunity. I would love for you to share more with us about when someone is working with you, what that actually looks like, and how you take them out of the fetal position and really help them to turn that into an opportunity.
Well, the first thing is that we are taught not to feel. We are taught not to lean into our stuff. We're taught to disassociate and numb out and override and just get on with life. And so with clients, I really encourage and teach them to lean into that pain, into the feelings, into the emotion, into the trauma. And like, you got all emotional, right? Like, that's the catalyst that I am. I am a space for feeling all your feels, and that includes like joy and happiness, because when you can feel the shit, right, you can feel alive. It's like, in order to keep all that stuff down and repressed, it numbs you out and dulls you out. And so you can't actually experience joy or aliveness if you're not willing to feel the fear or the sadness or the trauma. And that's really been my experience, transcending all of my darkness to light, is that I live such an incredibly joyful life. It's not that I don't have stuff that's happening, but it's literally, instead of being depressed for months, which is where I started, I'm depressed for minutes. I mean, that's the possibility. So my background is very I'm a coach, but I'm also an intuitive. And so I use a lot of different skills and tools that are both practical and magical to help you lean in, to get into who you really are, because your essence is light, your essence is pure consciousness, your essence is joy and love. We just got to get through all of that crap in order to get to that.
That's wild. So how do you actually do that with people? Like, I know you do sessions in person, and I also know that you do sessions distant, because you and I, was it 2 years ago, was the first time we met, or the second time we met physically in person, but we worked together, and Suzanne also has a radio show on the Inspired Choices Network, Love, Life, and All Things Weird, and she has a co-host, Megan Sillito, who is her partner in the radio show and her partner in life, and together the two of them, like, they pack a punch. I'm just saying, they pack a punch on the radio. But so you do, connect with people distantly as well as we did, so for very many years, until we had the opportunity to see each other in person. But what does it look like when you're working with someone? Let's start with the distance. What does that look like when you're working with someone distantly?
Well, I would say it's all about, what is your intention for the session? Like, where are you challenged? Where are you struggling? And that's the amazing thing about my experience in my life and my education, is that I can really help you in every area, whether it's your body, your relationship, your spirituality, your money, I work with entrepreneurs all the time. And so it's really like, what would be the best possible outcome for this session? And, I'm super intuitive. And so I can really see deeply within you and put a spotlight on those places inside of you that maybe you've forgotten, that maybe you're not aware of. And so it's a process of putting a puzzle together. I also do energy work, so I have a lot of experience in many modalities that is energy work, and I do that remotely as well as in person, hands-on. I will literally do anything. I have like hundreds of tools at my fingertips that I have used for 7 years that have transformed thousands of people's lives. So it's so different and specific with every single session. Not one session is the same. And I really just go where there's constriction, where there's misalignment in your energy, in your body, in your mindset, like wherever you're not living or expressing your truth is where I go. Does that make sense?
It does. It reminds me of the first time you did a session with me, and we were laughing. That's one of the things I love about you. You're so potent, and you marry it. It's like you wrap it in joy and laughter, and we were laughing so hard. I mean, I think that I literally had tears of laughter rolling down my face when you were telling me things. One of the things that Suzanne did with me is she did the Akashic Records, and I really had never had that experience before. And I've listened to that recording a number of times, and I'll never forget the very first thing you said to me.
What?
Christine, did you know that you are actually royalty? And look I am wearing purple today. I am all in my royalty today. That was not planned, by the way. But I'll never forget that. And I remember saying, well, it hasn't shown up in this lifetime. And, it was that energy of the lightness that invited me in to lean in even more. That I think is one of your biggest gifts, is this space that you be, but also the joy that you be when you're working with, at least with me, I'm sure with other clients as well. You also have a very interesting combination of capabilities. You're an amazingly proficient accountant, which cracks me up. I'm like, she does what? So you've done accounting. You were also a fitness instructor, were you not?
Yeah, I was a personal trainer and a health coach for a decade.
Wow. Yeah. And tell us about the, we understand the guide and the truth teller. Tell us about the fire starter of you.
Well, the fire starter is like I just put a fire underneath your butt basically and be like, go. Like I just like I have such an energy of like push, right? Like
Yeah.
you can't be in my presence and not feel like that push energy. Like people tend to be a little uncomfortable when they're in person with me because if they were supposed to do something or if they're supposed to feel something or if they're supposed to have a conversation with their partner, they can't hang out with me unless they go do that. So that's the fire starter part. It's like
She's a little demanding, people. She's a little demanding.
go take action. Come on, people.
Action. Well, that's true. I mean, that is one of the greatest gifts that you have is you move people into action. And I think that that speaks so strongly to what you have done in your life. You've made a ton of choices and you continue to make choices. And if those choices don't match with your truth, you continue to make another choice. And I think that that's a massive gift because there's so many people that, like you said earlier, that are numbing themselves, that are avoiding, that are burying their heads, that are doing anything, workaholic, you know, they're just doing anything they can to stay away from really connecting in with their truth. And you can't avoid it with Suzanne. She's going to bring you up close and personal to this. So Suzanne, I could talk with you and laugh with you for hours, and yet we
You're
don't
all
have.
welcome. That's all I have to say is you're welcome.
Thank you so much. Tell us about what you're creating in the world right now. In addition to your radio show, what else are you creating in the world? You do one-on-one sessions?
Yes, that's primarily, I have a full practice and I love doing one-on-one sessions, either with Zoom or in person. And that's really what I do every day, every week. And so if you're interested in doing that, you can email me. That's the best way to get a hold of me for an individual session. And I can give you all those details of everything that I offer. It's Suzanne P. Stauffer at gmail.com. So SUZANNEPSTAUFFER at gmail.com. So that's how you can get a hold of me. I'm usually booked out a couple weeks in advance for individual sessions. And so just know that. But I love doing one-on-ones. I also am in the process of creating a lot of online products. And if you're interested in just getting a little taster of healing like your inner child, like the wounded child within.
Mm-hmm.
Megan and I actually did a product a couple of years ago called Healing the Wounded Child. It's only $7. And so maybe we could give the link for that particular product if people want to just have a start. They know that they've had some patterns and trauma and healing to do. They just don't know where to start. That's a good place to start.
Fabulous.
And then, if you want to come to beautiful Salt Lake City, I'm doing a live weekend event in September, which is on the books, but I don't even have like details about it. So, just an FYI, that's coming up.
That's coming up. And of course, they can connect with you at your website, livingyoursoultruth.com. Suzanne, please continue to challenge us. Please continue to be the truth teller. Keep laughing. You invite us in, and I am incredibly grateful for everything that you're being and doing, and that I get to keep playing with you. It's such a gift. Thank you so much, darling. Bye for now. Thank you so much, everyone, for connecting in and watching us today. It's been a real pleasure having you with us. Be sure to join us again next week. We will have another inspiring guest to share with you. And until next time, remember, you can always make another choice.